Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? I have played so many games, probably hundreds at this point, and a lot of games that I have played have been very good,
So beautiful. My life finally has a meaning.
and a lot have been very bad.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Little did I know when I started this game a couple hours ago that I would beat it by now, but also how absolutely shitty it would be. I am, of course, talking about Fight Club for the original Xbox. Now, granted, I assume what this game was supposed to be was a sit down with your buddies in the era of 2004 days, and kicking back, drinking some soda, Mountain Dew, and playing against each other in versus mode. But even that, to be honest, still seems like it wouldn't be too much fun. I mean, during this time we had games like Killer Instinct, Dead or Alive, Mortal Kombat, and I would pick any of those three options and any other fighting game rather than playing this with my buddies. I'm not one to just completely shit on a game. I love video games, and I think that to each their own, but not only that, every game kind of has its own little something good about it. I just could not find that with this one. The music was alright, they had some Korn in it, and I really liked the band Korn, so that was the only plus I can think of. Looking at the back, it seems that this game also had online co-op, so it definitely was meant to just be a beat 'em up against two people. Nevertheless, they made a story that was not only unamusing and uncatching, but completely sloppy and broken into shit compared to the movie. It had nothing to do with what the movie had to do with. I'm really confused why they even called this game Fight Club. This could have just been named anything else, fighting wise, and it would have just probably done as bad. The controls are atrocious. They're completely sloppy. It almost feels like you don't even know what you're doing. You're just button mashing through the game. The story mode for the shittiest player ever should average a 3-hour, maybe 4-hour time span. It is very quick to beat this game. Like I said, I don't think it was meant to be a story-driven game. I think it was completely meant to be a sit-down fight with your homies. Nevertheless, they made a story mode, and holy shit, they butchered it. Let's look at the cover of this real quick, because it looks pretty good. It looks pretty crazy. As you can see, you got some deranged looking stuff. You got the classic Fight Club bar soap, and it shows you the bands that play in the game. Throughout the story mode, there had to have been no more than like 12 fights. And I haven't even brought this part up yet. The story mode has like no video cutscene. It's I've never really like actually played through a game like this other than like PS1 era games. During the Xbox, I mean, Ninja Gaiden, every single, not even just Ninja Gaiden, every game when it came to a cutscene had a fucking video. The developers gave so little of a shit about this game that it was a still frame of one of the game characters, their face just like this, and then it would like say their line, and then it would go to another game character and he's like this, and it would just say his line. No movement at all, just a picture frame and then a quote or whatever they're saying, and then to the next person until the dialogue ends, and then you just go into the next fight. The only enemy with a somewhat different playstyle in the entire game is the final boss, I guess you could say. Jack. He's pretty fucking hard to kill. Like I said earlier, the average shitty player could probably beat the game in like 3 or 4 hours. And like half an hour to 1 of those hours would probably be on Jack. He takes a lot of tries to like actually know his play style, get down his combos, and be able to counter them. The thing about this game is it doesn't give you any like tutorial. You don't know the controls. You are literally basically button mashing through the whole game and hoping that you're doing what's right. And you have your health bar on one side, enemy's health bar on the other, and while you're just mashing, you're just hoping the whole time that theirs is a little lower than yours until you knock them out. But back to the story. The story makes no fucking sense at all. I was somewhat following it in the beginning of the game. It started making, like, the beginning made sense, but the more you progress in the game, the more you're just like, what the fuck is even happening? He keeps trying to find this guy in Fight Club. That's what it is. You're just trying to find somebody. And there's no background to like how you know him or anything. You're just trying to find a guy. So each fight you get into, it's like, hey, this guy told me that you know where this guy is. And they're like, oh, you're gonna have to fight me to get it out of me. And then you fight them, and then they never tell you. They're just like, oh, you're gonna want to talk to this guy. He's the one who actually knows who he is. Then you fight that guy, and it's just a long fucking progression, on and on and on, until you get to the guy at the very end. And once you beat him, the game does the biggest fucking curveball. It made no sense at all. It turned the game into like something completely different for the last 60 seconds, and then it just credits roll. It appears to like the main villain, I guess. I'm sorry that I'm butchering the story, but it literally makes no fucking sense. I implore you, anyone who has an original Xbox, to buy the game and play it, or emulate it on whatever emulator you have, and tell me in the comments if it made sense to you, because this game doesn't make sense. But the final, okay, this is the one cutscene this game had, the one fucking cutscene. It was the very end, right before the credits. It showed like these henchmen coming up to a guy who was watching from a building, was watching you as the character fight Jack, and you just win. And he has a fucking detonator in his hand for a bomb. And he like shoots himself in the head and survives the gunshot, and then looks out the window and detonates, and all the buildings around him explode. And then the fucking game ends. It had nothing to do with the story. They completely threw that in there for no fucking reason. I'm astonished. I am star-stricken. I'm losing my fucking mind about how shitty this game was. It's so bad, guys. It's so fucking bad. Like I said, I always try to give every video game a chance. I really do. They can always have something that you would think some people would like. And you know, maybe a very, very small minority of like fighter gamers, like Street Fight type gamers or Smash Bros, people like them, maybe a very small minority of those people do like Fight Club for the game mechanics, but I cannot see how there would be more than a couple people. No one would pick this game to 1v1 somebody in over Tekken, Street Fighter, Dead or Alive, anything else. This would not be the game to fucking do it. Like I said, this was probably a game meant to sit with your brother or your best friend and fight each other, and that was it. But they had to throw a story mode in it. And I love single player story mode games, and I have the game, so I tried it, and it's just terrible. And you know what? I'm almost glad that I played it and beat it, because I know now that I never have to look back. That was something that happened, and it's something that I know I never have to go through again. I'll probably go through a bunch of shitty games in my life. I've gone through enough already, but it will never be this one. And I can only be happy about that, right? Hey guys, if you made it to the end of this video on the Retro Gaming Corner, I just want to say I really appreciate it. I was trying to do shorts for a long time. When I would beat a game, I would make a short out of it. And it'd be like 40-45 seconds long, just overview of the game, what I would rate it. And I still want to continue to do that, but I think some games deserve to go a little bit more in-depth. Some games deserve more than 45 seconds to explain them and talk about them, especially shitty ones. And if any of you have played Fight Club and you completely disagree with me, it's the best game of all time, I'm completely wrong, please let me know in the comments. If you think video games have turned to complete shit, and none of them are fun anymore, none of the new ones that are coming out, to the point where nowadays Black Ops 2 has to be relaunched for people to go back to Call of Duty, because every single COD that comes out is so dog shit that they have to go back to Black Ops 2, where at least 10 Call of Duties have come out since then. I'm losing my train of thought. It really pisses me off even thinking about that. I looked at Black Ops 2 on the Xbox game store the other day. It was like $60. The 360 version, it's bananas. It actually pisses me off even thinking about that. But if you think that video games nowadays have turned to disasters, and that the only way to truly enjoy a good story-driven game nowadays is to go back in time to the Xbox era, PlayStation era, Nintendo GameCube or Wii era, well, you belong right here. This is your home for that. And there's plenty more game overviews to come of really good ones and really shitty ones, but nevertheless better than what's coming out nowadays. I hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you like the video. And if you want to see any more overviews of these old retro games, stick around. There's a lot more is coming. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.